All right, journal entry number 2. Everything that feels bad to you isn't bad for you. All right, when we think of grief and the feelings that it brings up on the inside, we know how bad that it feels. And because it feels so bad, it can lead you and I to think that it is a bad thing. And I want you to know this. If you're grieving, it's not that there's something wrong with you. It's something very, very right with you. Grief is the natural and right response to a significant loss of any kind, right? So it's helpful if we think of grief not as a good or bad thing, but as a thing, all right? So if you're on your pathway of life, if there is a big rock or a boulder right in the middle of that pathway, how you approach that thing says more about you than it does that thing. Here's what I mean. If you're just a passive traveler on the pathway of life and you come across a big boulder, that rock, that thing is a roadblock. It's something that stands in your way. But if you're a sculptor, somebody who spends their life making meaning out of things, then that big rock isn't just a roadblock. That big rock is the raw material that you're going to use to carve something beautiful out of. And when we realize that all of us are, as people, are sculptors, then we realize that, oh, no. Our goal with grief is not to let it stand in the way or be a roadblock for the rest of our lives. But our goal when it comes to approaching grief is to see that in some way, shape, or form, this is going to be the raw material that I sculpt something beautiful out of. The goal is not to get grief out of the way. The goal is not to end grief. The goal is to find meaning. It may take time, but eventually you're going to find a way to sculpt something beautiful out of the raw material that is your grief. If you're grieving, I want to remind you, you're not crazy. You're not alone. You're human.